guys, it's Lucy Trafford here, and you're listening to True Radio on 99.8 FM. Still to come on today's show, we'll be playing some more killer tunes from Drenge, Royal Blood and Peace. Plus, in the spirit of this week's Film Focus, we'll have some very special guests joining me live in the studio, including Johnny Briggs, director of the highly acclaimed short horror film called Humans Can Lick 2. Bit of a weird name, right? But we'll be having a chat with him now as he joins us in the studio. Hey!
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm great, thanks.
Great. Now, first of all, I just want to start by congratulating you on your new film, Humans Can Lick 2, which was released. You'll have to excuse me.
Last week.
Of course, I was at the film premiere at Sundance Film Festival, and wow, it was proper scary, and I wasn't the only one that found that. It was chilling. Now, tell me, the name of your film is really strange. Why did you decide to call it that?
Well, my film was based on the urban legend called The Licked Hand, but there are so many other names that the legend was given, as well as that one. And the one I chose in the end was the one I wanted, because I wanted the film to have a title that wasn't conventional, a title that would appear on a poster on a busy street and would make people curious.
Well, it certainly made me curious.
Well, that's the reaction I want from everyone. I want people to be questioning the title, and I want people to be drawn in by it, so they can go out and see my film, so they can have their questions answered, and their spines chilled at the same time.
Brilliant. I have a question from a listener here who asks, in what ways does your film use, develop or challenge conventions of typical horror films?
That's a great question. Let's start off with the ways that my film challenges conventions. When it comes to the setting, with most horror movies you're seeing dark forests, abandoned houses, haunted houses, misty graveyards, gloomy underground tunnels and dark dungeons. The list is endless and I could go on forever. But with my film, I set it in the comfort of a family home located in a lazy countryside village, joined together by a close-knit community.
Why did you want to set it in such a peaceful and unfrightening place then?
I thought you'd ask that. I set my film in this location because I really wanted the shock of something so scary happening to hit really hard, because it occurs in such a place where horror, isn't really expected. Now, in terms of my film developing conventions of the horror genre, let's talk about the classic damsel in distress. In most horror films, the damsel in distress is always the anxious blonde woman who screams whenever she hears a noise when she's left home alone. You know what I'm talking about. Like, have you ever seen Scary Movie 1?
Yeah.
I think everyone's seen it. You know, the scene at the start when the blonde woman's being chased by the guy from Scream, but it's overhyped. In my film, there was obviously a damsel in distress in the form of the main character, played by Lucy Briggs. But she does not act like one until the film really gets, just gets really intense. She only displays fear after seeing this dark message written in blood all over the walls of her bathroom. I won't spoil it for you. Up to the point in the film, she acts in a very bold manner. She hears the noises and she's up in her room. And, she's not afraid by them. She faces her fear and she goes downstairs to find what's making the noise. And, a true damsel in distress would not act like this. She'd be screaming and running around all over the place.
Okay, thank you. What about your film using conventions of the horror genre?
Obviously I had to use some classic horror film conventions, or else my film would just not be a horror film. I could talk for hours about this, but I'll keep it nice and simple. In most horror films, sound is very important, especially non-diegetic sound. Sound which is not being made within the film, so sound that, in a way, isn't visible in the film. This includes music, which is essential when it comes to building up tension. Obviously, I used a lot of music to build up tension in my film. So the scene when she's coming from upstairs to go to the bathroom to see what's going on and what's making the noise, the music there is really building up and it's, really intense. And of course that heightens the tension. One more thing I should talk about is technical codes. Things like camera angles, low-key lighting. In every horror film, you'll always see close-up shots of characters' faces to highlight the expression of fear on their faces. And in terms of low-key lighting, like, if you've got darkness in a film, it's always going to be scary, isn't it? I guess in a way, the lack of light suggests that there's a darkness, evil, or trouble, if you like, that's all around you. And, it's really good when you go to a cinema and you're watching a really scary film and everything's dark and it just gets really intense with darkness. I use low-key lighting and close-up shots in my film. You know, classic horror conventions that made my film a horror film.
Great, okay. Well, thank you for talking to us. Have a good day. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. So, guys, don't forget to check out Humans Can Lick 2, the creepiest film I've ever seen. Thanks to Johnny Briggs for coming in. Up next, music from Drenge, and then our first ever film news broadcast. So stay tuned.